Hello everyone, welcome to EduTerrain and a warm good afternoon to you all. Hope my voice is clear and the screen is visible except me. I will not be visible. As I've said earlier also, there's some issue with my video. So it will take some more time. Yes. Is my voice audible and if this screen is visible? Okay, as I can see, yes, it's audible and visible. Good. Yes. So today we are going to see yet another interesting scheme. Actually, it's part of yesterday's scheme only, that is a Startup India scheme. One of those initiatives that government has taken up under the startup the program. It is the fund of the funds for the startup scheme. Now, oh, thank you, Arpan, for confirming. Yes. So this is one such scheme where we have seen that startups को जो push चाहिए, that all would be provided under this scheme. Majorly the funding part, that is the financing part, that would be provided here, the financing part. So here the government has started this. So these are my credentials. You can go through it later as well. And before starting the session, I have one major announcement. From 5th April, we'll be starting our daily live sessions on MCQs, discussions for regular current affairs. I have been getting lots of queries on this, lots of requests also. Though I'm providing you with all the MCQs, weekly MCQs I'm providing, but still students are requesting to launch a series sort of or classes where I can cover some of those most important MCQs in those classes. So based on all the requests and suggestions, I have come up with this. So from 5th April, every day morning 9 a.m. Monday to Friday if possible. I'll also take it on either Saturday or Sunday. Currently I haven't decided yet. Based on again a student's confirmation, I'll start that. Okay, otherwise from Monday to Friday we'll be having one exclusive MCQs discussion session. It will be very short, don't worry. मैं इसको लेंदी नहीं रखूँगी. We'll discuss the most important questions. 1 day का lag रहेगा. The current affairs, whatever that have happened, based on that we'll be discussing the questions. Okay. Hope this should be helpful for you, to all of you for your exam preparation, various competitive examinations, because these current affairs would be helpful for all the competitive examinations that you are preparing for. Okay, so yes, with this let me start today's session. Fund of the funds for startup, that is under the Startup India scheme. Yesterday we have seen that government is implementing the various flagship schemes under the Startup India initiative, majorly to realize the potential of the startups in India, as part of which there are 3 major programs that India has launched. One, the Fund of Fund for Startups, that is FFS. Startup India Seed Fund Scheme, that is majorly financial assistance and mentorship assistance is provided to the startups which are majorly at a nascent stage, 0 to 2 years of age. Credit guarantee scheme for startups, so that those organizations, those entities which are providing financial assistance to these startups should not go at a loss in case the startups are not able to pay back the whatever the amount that they have taken, that is loans and all that. So these two we have discussed yesterday only. Today we will be doing fund of funds for startups. Okay. Now here the launch date of the year for this particular scheme or program is 2016. The major aim of this particular scheme is to make capital available for startups, that is the financial assistance in simpler terms for startups at early age, seed age, growth stage. At all stages the funding can be obtained under this particular program, and this will help to play a catalytic role, that is a pace would be increased in terms of facilitating raising of the domestic capital, reducing dependence on foreign capital, waiting for someone else to provide the funding, and encouraging homegrown and new venture capital funds, that is whatever the funding that is required for various ventures or projects. For that, this would help. How is that going to be done? Who is it that is going to look into this? The monitoring agency is a Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, that is DPIIT, which is under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, that is central government. And the operating agency which looks into this funding part and all that, that is done by the Small Industries Development Bank of India, which is maintaining the fund 10,000 plus crores of corpus, which is exclusively allocated for this particular program. Okay, corpus of 10,000, actually it is 10,000 plus crores. In PIB they have mentioned it as 10,000, but in few other literature I could find that 10,200 or so the amount. This is to meet the funding needs of various startups. Now how is it going to be provided? Now the operation procedure, which is important here. Under this particular program, the support is extended. Now whatever the funding, that would be extended to the SEBI registered alternative investment funds, which are also called as daughter funds, which in turn invest in startups. जैसे रीफाइनेंसिंग टाइप का होता है. ओके, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल नाबार्ड है. नाबार्ड प्रोवाइड्स फाइनेंस टू वेरियस banks, regional rural banks and other banks, and they in turn, that is primary cooperative banks, etc., and they in turn provide them to the beneficiaries. Similarly here under FSS, SEBI would be providing loans or funding, you can say help to these alternative investment funds, which are actually private entities only, and here it's not that a single person would be handling this, no, a single person's money would be there. Various persons, especially high net worth individuals or foreign entities, they come forward and they all come together to form a pool of funds. Okay, because all of these, the main objective of the people behind this particular AIF would be higher income, that is revenue from whatever that they are investing. Okay, so they all come together, pool up, and whatever the money that they have pulled, they further give them to the business people and all that, various businesses. In simpler terms, as an investor, they'll invest the money. Okay, here in this case, these alternate investment funds, FFS, this fund of funds for startup scheme, the amount would be provided to these AIFs, which are generally under SEBI guidelines only, SEBI registered AIFs, and which in turn, now the funds through them would be invested in startups. They look into which startup is that can get more money in future, which is scalable, everything. They look at all the balance sheets and their presentations, etc., all that. Based on that, they invest that in the various startups. Okay, the total corpus, as I have said, 10,000 crores. It is envisaged to be provided over the 14th and 15th finance commission cycles, that is till 2024-25. same जो स्टार्टअप इंडिया का स्कीम है ना, उसी लाइन्स पे है ये भी. ओके, नाउ देर आर फ्यू एग्जाम्पल्स ऑल्सो. सम ऑफ द नोटेबल स्टार्टअप्स which were funded through FFS, like Dunzo, CureFit, Fresh to Home, Jumbotail, Unacademy, Unifor, Vogo, Jostel, Zetwork. These are some of those startups which have received funds from these alternate invest funds, which have been further provided, the funds that they have received from the FFS only. So ये कुछ examples है आपके लिए who have received the funds under this particular program. Now अभी हम लोग ये देख रहे थे alternative investment fund. What exactly is that? As I've said, it's a pool of funds. It denotes a fund set up in India, functioning as a privately pooled investment vehicle. So it's a sort of entity which attracts investment or capital from sophisticated investors, that is, you can say high net worth individuals or venture capitalists, both domestic भी हो सकते हैं, they can be foreign investors also. And what is the purpose of this? With the purpose of investing based on a predetermined investment strategy. They have their own strategy ऑलरेडी कि इस पर्टिकुलर AIF में हम लोग पैसे डालेंगे, वो आगे इस स्टार्टअप्स में या इस तरह के स्टार्टअप्स में या फिर बिजनेसेस में इन्वेस्ट होगा, थ्रू विच हमें अच्छे से इनकम आएगा. ओके, ultimately serving the interest of the investors. Investors का interest क्या है? Good return on their investments. Good return, or you can say best returns on their investments. And these investment entities, all these alternative investment funds that we are talking about, they comply with the SEBI regulations of 2012. उसके अंदर जो भी rules and regulations है, their ambit falls under that. So that's the reason fund of funds for startup scheme, whatever funds that are there, they'll be provided only to the SEBI registered alternative investment funds. Okay. Now this AIF can take up a shape of a trust, a company, limited liability partnership, or a corporate entity in any form. We have here mentioned, no, it is an investment vehicle. Now this investment vehicle can be in any form. ट्रस्ट की तरह स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं, कंपनी, लिमिटेड लाइबिलिटी पार्टनरशिप, कॉर्पोरेट एंटिटी एक्सेट्रा. And the majority of AIFs registered with SEBI are structured as trusts. And as of December 2023, there were 1200 plus AIFs registered with SEBI. Okay, now when we talk about these alternative investment funds, SEBI has classified these AIFs into three major categories. Category 1, which of those AIFs fall into this category 1? Now these AIFs encompassing investments, now these are those entities which invest in the startups, early stage ventures, social initiatives, small and medium enterprises, infrastructure related projects or sectors which are identified as socially and economically advantageous by various regulators, like SEBI हो सकता है, RBI हो सकता है. Okay, wherever, especially socially, जो social and economically अगर beneficial है, उस तरह के projects में invest करते हैं these AIFs. And this category encompasses, one second, venture capital, social venture funds, infrastructure funds, and other designated alternative investment funds. And these are those AIFs where generally this FFS focuses upon. Okay, moving on to our category 2. Now whatever AIFs that are not categorized either in category 1 or 3, they are all together put under category 2. And these, they generally refrain from leveraging or borrowing except for fulfilling everyday operational needs. जो ये लॉन्ग टर्म के लिए नहीं होता है, ओके, शॉर्ट टर्म के लिए जिनको फंड्स की ज़रूरत होती है ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस या जो भी ऐसे कंपनीज को, देयर दे कम फॉरवर्ड टू इन्वेस्ट द अमाउंट. Now this category encompasses real estate funds, private equity funds, distressed asset funds, and comparable types. उसी तरह के जितने भी है, in that they tend to provide that to for a short term, not long term. Coming to category 3. Now these are those AIFs that are utilized varied or intricate trading strategies. They generally put or invest the amount in those areas where they can employ the leverage or leverage huge returns but with higher risks. Risks भी यहाँ बहुत high होंगे. Okay, so here potentially employing leverage including through investment either in listed or unlisted derivatives, that is stock market में, bond market में, या फिर जहाँ पे रिस्क इज ऑल्सो हाई बट रिटर्न्स आएंगे तो वो भी बहुत हाई रहते हैं, उस तरह के एरियाज में दे टेंड टू इन्वेस्ट द अमाउंट. वेरियस फंड टाइप्स लाइक हेज फंड्स, पाइप, दैट इज प्राइवेट इन्वेस्टमेंट इन पब्लिक इक्विटी, प्राइवेट फंड्स उसमें भी लगते हैं ना वहाँ पे, these are all classified as category 3 AIFs upon registration. Now what are these hedge funds? Hedge funds are a level higher than mutual funds risk में. These are financial partnerships that employ various strategies in an effort to maximize returns for their investors. Unlike mutual funds में क्या है, they look, they whatever the fund that they have in hand, they try to put it in those areas where the risk is low but income is high, so they try to balance it. A part of the amount they try to put it in the high risk high income category, a part of that very low risk high income category, low risk high income low risk low income category like FDs, high risk high income category or no उस तरह से just security this stock market, उस तरह से they try to balance it out. But hedge funds, they have the free reign to invest in non traditional assets and employ risky strategies, कि आते हैं तो full आते हैं. Okay, so high risk जो funds maintain होते हैं, that would be done under the hedge funds. So they have the strategies wherein they try to maximize the returns of the investors by leveraging the high risk category investment vehicles. Okay, so these are the various categories of AIFs. Now why did we take this up as part of today's session? Because this has been in news since the last 2 to 3 months. एक बार दिसंबर में आया था न्यूज़ में. Why? Because of RBI modifying norms for the regulated entities who are investing into AIFs, because they further invest in various other entities, right? So RBI ने अभी recently कुछ modifications किए हैं उसमें, because of which these AIFs have been all over the news, and during which the highlighting of fund of the funds for startup scheme has also happened. So because of which we are doing this. Now what are the current affairs that we are talking about? One, see, RBI has modified norms for the regulated entities concerning their investment. The regulated entities यहाँ क्या क्या है, जैसे NBFC से, banks से, scheduled commercial banks and all that. इसमें SEBI भी आती है. So concerning their investments in alternative investment funds. So December 2023 में पहला आया था, wherein RBI has directed, its directive said that it prevented the regulated entities from making investments in units of AIFs having downstream investments either directly or indirectly in any debtors company of the regulated entities. Now what does this mean? See, debtor कौन होता है? He or she, he is in debt, he owes some money. In this case, the debtor company of R is, that is already debtor ने, इसने X, for example, X person has taken money from Y regulated entity. Okay, and here what we are saying, here see, it prevented REs from making investments in the units of AIFs. Okay, so and another AIF is there, Z. Okay, now this Z has invested in X, but X has already taken loan from Y. So now this regulated entity, it can't put or invest in this Z AIF because it already has a investment in X, which again is a debtor to Y. So this has to be taken care of by the regulated entities before investing in any of the alternative investment funds. Now March 2024 में एक और आया था. They have what RBI has, again RBI has come into picture here. Now what did RBI say here? So RBI said that the regulated entities, they have to provision some amount whenever they are investing in the alternative investment fund. So provisioning by the REs shall be required only to the extent of investment by the RE in the AIF scheme, which is further invested by the AIF in the debtor company. So here what RBI has to say is, अगर for example same example लेंगे, X is a debtor of Y. So Y, that is regulated entity, can make a provisioning while providing money to Z AIF only to the tune of amount that it is having, it has the X has to pay to the regulated entity, that is Y. Okay, see, only to the extent of investment by the RE in the AIF scheme, which is further invested by the AIF in the debtor company, and not on the entire investment of the RE in the AIF scheme. So पूरा अमाउंट के लिए नहीं, फॉर एग्जाम्पल RE ने AIF में 100 रुपीज़ लगाया. ओके, उस 100 रुपीज़ में हो सकता है कि AIF ने 50 रुपीज़ X को दिया है. ओके, सो विच इज़ ऑलरेडी डेटर टू RE. सो इन दिस केस RE has to make a provisioning of 50 rupees separately, so that if there is anything goes wrong here, they'll have that 50 backup, because the 50 already is with X. Okay. Now all this why they are doing? To stop the practice of evergreening of loans. Evergreening क्या है loans का? See for example, X entity ने loan लिया है Y से. Okay. They have paid some interest, some part of principal also, but they were not able to pay wholly, and they're running into losses or some problem. So now what does Y does? Sometimes in order to they'll X shows no, this is a problem now we are facing, in future we'll do very good, we'll do very good business, and they start pumping more money into this. And this way, though if left like that, that might go into NPA, X loan, but here in this case, since Y is pumping, so dekhne mein it is very good, all good. So that condition is called as evergreening of loans. So wahan pe kuch nahi hai, but still Y is pumping money into X based on some future notions, okay, that it is going to do good or whatsoever. So that to avoid this, or sometimes to not to get into the NPS, this has happened very recently. If you जो NPS का भी recently हुआ था, so in this case what they do is X ने 100 rupees का loan लिया है. Okay, so what Y does is ये loan books में clear दिखाने के लिए they provide another 100 rupees loan, so that they'll ये first loan है, second loan, this they'll repay with this second amount. So now this will be fresh loan. So these kind of issues are also happening in these AIFs, because बिल्कुल अलग सी entity है, so they don't have much command over that. So to avoid all that, RBI has directed these two initiatives very recently, one in December 2023, one in March 2024, just 6-7 days back ही हुआ है March वाला. All this to avoid these practices of evergreening of loans. This happens startups में बहुत होता है. Okay. So again, before getting into our answers for homework questions and the homework questions, again a small announcement. We'll be having a daily live sessions on MCQs of daily current affairs from 5th April 2024, based on the requests that I have been getting from the students in the last few days. We are going to start this. Okay, 5th April se hoga, morning 9 AM. We'll have this Monday to Friday. Okay. Yes. And if you have any queries, you can always write to me at helpdesk@eduterrain@gmail.com, or you can discuss with me on the Telegram group as well. Okay. So thank you very much once again. So, and before going to the homework questions, let's have a quick look at the answers of the homework questions that I have given you yesterday. Startups incorporated on or after 1st April 2016 can apply for income tax exemption. Now the recognized startups that are granted an inter-ministerial, ये I think हो गया ना हमारा? Did we do this? Yes, anyone? मैं पुराने क्वेश्चंस तो नहीं ले आई परसों वाले. I feel like that. Okay, anyways, the recognized startups that are granted an inter-ministerial board certificate are exempted from income tax for a period of how many consecutive years out of 10 years since incorporation? This we have discussed. It is for 3 years. Consecutively for 3 years this is done. Okay, Arpan, thank you for confirming. National Startup Advisory Council was constituted by the DPIIT to advise the government on measures needed to build a strong ecosystem for nurturing innovation and startups in the country. Now, who is the chairman of this NSAC? It is Minister for Ministry of Commerce and Industry. He or she will be looking into all this. Now, today's question. Now, which is the operating agency, nodal agency, ministry, all these are different here. Please be very, very careful. I'm talking about the operating agency for the fund of the funds for startup scheme. 1. Under FFS, that is a fund of funds for startup scheme, support is extended to alternative investment funds registered with which regulatory body, which in turn invest in startups. Okay, now you have to tell me which is the regulatory body under which these AIFs are registered, to whom the funding would be provided, which further is expected, and especially when we talk about this FFS, it is alternative investment funds category 1 that are important for us. Okay, so this is all from my end. Thank you very much once again, and don't forget to like this session and share this session with your friends. Yes, so a quick recap of what we have done. कल हमने देखा था startup India scheme program, under which the 19 pointers that we have seen. Okay, and in order to provide that impetus through or to those 19 pointers, various initiatives are being taken up by the government of India, and of which 3 most important initiatives or schemes that we have seen, of which one today we have discussed, that is fund of funds for the startups scheme. Okay, yes. Any questions, queries, comments on today's session, suggestions, all are welcome. Okay, since there are no queries, I'm winding up the session. Yes. Thank you very much once again. Have a great day ahead. Please take good care of yourself. Bye bye.